and an occasional visit to the casino buffet lines. Please give it up for Brian Rouff.
There you go. So every family has an interesting story, right? And I don't mean the kind of Lifetime movie story, but more like Billy the Kid was my great-great-great-great-grandfather kind of story, which is not true. But the story I'm going to tell you is true. My father, Morris Rouff, invented Formula 409. Exactly. Isn't that great? The top cleaning product in the world. Now, those of you who know me, I know what you're thinking. Why am I not rich? And therein lies my story. So let's go back to Detroit of the 1950s. We're not really going to do that, by the way. It's just pretend. We're going to go back, and my father owned a chemical plant, small one, and he was doing well. It was after the war, and he had certain types of clients that had particularly nasty cleaning problems, like Chinese restaurants, which cooked with lard in those days, and also mortuaries, which were not even as clean as they are now. So his mission was to develop an industrial product, commercial only, that would clean those problems. And he worked, and he came up with 409. Now, that 409 was sold in 40-gallon drums. It was not for the consumer market. If you got some on your hand, you'd probably have to go to the ER, and you might not have a hand. So here's the reason I'm not rich. In 1960, he sold it to a company called Chemsol, which sold it in 63 to a company called Wilson Harrell, which sold it in 65 or 66 to Clorox. So while my dad walked away with a nice chunk of money, he made about $100,000, which in those days, Mark, where are you? You're a money guy. What's that worth now? $500,000? I don't know, something like that. So it was good money, but it was not life-changing, but it enabled us to move to California, and which was the promised land in those days, but that's why I'm still a working stiff. When I asked my dad about it years later, he said, well, it seemed like a big score, and he wanted to go to the Golden Land, and he just knew things would be better, and he was tired of the Michigan winters. So the reason I mention all of this is because of the way the Clorox website tells the 409 story. It says, Formula 409 didn't get its name from the area code where it was developed, and it's not the birth date of the creator's daughter. Formula 409 got its name from perseverance, from the desire of two young scientists in Detroit to create the ultimate cleaner. A cleaner like that doesn't get created on the first try. Only when they had created 409 formulas were these two young men satisfied they had created the ultimate cleaner. It's a nice yarn. It's marketing bullshit. The reason I know this is because I write marketing bullshit for a living. I'm an expert. So I decided, and the only part they got right, by the way, is Detroit. So I decided I was going to set the record straight. And by the way, Formula 409, in case you're wondering, got its name from my mother's birthday, April 9th, 409. It was a tribute to my mom. And that's the truth. The Clorox folks weren't even there. So I have spent years trying to fix the Wikipedia entry, which was populated by the Clorox stuff. And every time I changed it, somebody, probably from Clorox, changed it back. But I wore the bastards down. After 5 or 6 years, here's what it says now on Wikipedia. The flagship product was invented in 1957 by Morris D. Rouff, whose Michigan company manufactured industrial cleaning supplies. Blah, 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 blah. So he's got his, rightful recognition. I've done my job. Quick sidebar. Do I have time for a quick sidebar? Thank you. I wasn't looking at the clock. So my father passed in 1997. In 2001, our younger daughter, Amanda, became pregnant for the first time. She wasn't supposed to be able to get to be pregnant. She had cancer as a young woman. It's a whole other story. Invite me back, I'll tell you that one. What happened was my wife and I were on the road. We were checking into a hotel, and Our daughter called my wife, Tammy, on the cell phone and said, hey, I've decided what we're going to name our baby boy when he's born. Going to name him Aaron Morris. Morris after my dad. I was very touched when she told me. And we get up to the counter, and I said to her, I wonder if he knows. And 2 seconds later, the clerk hands us our keys and says, you're in room 409. May God strike me a glancing blow, if that's not a... And my wife and I looked at each other and we said, he knows. Thank you.